Reader response criticism. Reader response criticism is a literary theory that focuses on the reader's role in interpreting and creating meaning in a text. It emphasizes the idea that the meaning of a literary work is not fixed or objective but is instead constructed through the active engagement of the reader. Reader response criticism emerged in the mid-20th century as a response to the dominance of formalist and structuralist approaches to literature. Historical development. Reader response criticism can be traced back to the early 20th century, but it gained significant attention and recognition in the 1960s and 1970s. It was influenced by various intellectual and theoretical movements, including phenomenology, existentialism, and hermeneutics. Key figures in the development of reader response criticism include Louise Rosenblatt, Wolfgang Iser, Stanley Fish, and Norman Holland. Louise Rosenblatt, in her book Literature as Exploration, 1938, introduced the concept of the transactional nature of reading, emphasizing the reciprocal relationship between the reader and the text. Wolfgang Iser, in his work The Implied Reader, 1972, explored the role of the reader's expectations and assumptions in shaping the meaning of a text. Stanley Fish, in his influential essay Interpreting the Variorum, 1976, argued that meaning is not inherent in the text but is constructed by the reader within the interpretive community. Norman Holland, in The Dynamics of Literary Response, 1968, focused on the psychological processes involved in the reader's response to literature. Assumptions. Reader response criticism is built upon several key assumptions. A. Subjectivity of meaning. Reader response criticism assumes that meaning is subjective and varies from reader to reader. It rejects the idea of a single, fixed interpretation of a text and instead recognizes the multiplicity of meanings that can arise from different readers' perspectives. B. Active reader. This approach emphasizes the active role of the reader in the process of meaning-making. The reader brings their own experiences, beliefs, and cultural background to the interpretation of a text, influencing the meaning they derive from it. C. Intertextuality. Reader response criticism acknowledges the influence of other texts and cultural contexts on the reader's interpretation. The meaning a reader derives from a text is shaped by their familiarity with other literary works, cultural references, and personal experiences. D. Transactional process. Reader response criticism views reading as a transactional process between the reader and the text. The reader interacts with the text, continuously shaping and revising their understanding of it as they progress through the reading experience. E. Interpretive communities. Reader response criticism recognizes the existence of interpretive communities, groups of readers who share common assumptions, values, and ways of interpreting texts. The meaning of a text is influenced by the norms and conventions of the interpretive community to which the reader belongs. In summary, reader response criticism highlights the active and subjective role of the reader in interpreting and constructing meaning in a text. It emerged as a reaction to formalist approaches and emphasizes the importance of readers' experiences, expectations, and cultural contexts in the process of literary interpretation.